Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we've got another update from Kuya Silver, which trades on the Canadian Stock Exchange under the symbol KUYA. Joining me this morning is Kuya's President and CEO, David Stein. David, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me this morning, Megan.
So for those who are still new to the company's story, could you provide us an introduction to Kuya Silver?
Sure. So Kuya is, we're well known for our flagship asset, which is the Bethania silver mine in Peru. And that's a recent past producer that we're looking at making some improvements to and putting back into production. And we've successfully permitted to construct a new mill at site in Peru, and as well as getting our first ever resource on the project. It was owned privately before us, and we also did a very favorable PEA last year. We've also made a lot of new discoveries at the project as well. So although it's not the topic for today, we do have, we've done a lot of really great work on the project in the last year, 18 months especially. It's really accelerated. So that is you know, that's a big part of the company. We also have the Silver Kings project in Northern Ontario, Canada, and that is a silver cobalt prospect that has also a lot of historical mining there, which is why we like it. Narrow, super high grade, you know, the type of low tonnage, low capex type of silver operation that we like. And really what we kind of pride ourselves on is having production angle as well as the exploration angle to our story. So we really give our shareholders multiple ways to win as we, you know, do exploration, make discoveries, and grow our resource base, as well as you know, moving our projects, you know, in particular Bethania, closer and closer to production. And it's a very near-term producer, and so that's something we can do fairly quickly.
So the topic for today is that yesterday the company announced the commencement of the next phase of drilling at the Kerr prospect, located in the cobalt silver mining camp in Ontario, Canada. Could you walk us through the release and perhaps discuss some of your targets for this phase of drilling?
Sure. So we're very excited to be back drilling at the Silver Kings project. We are mostly going to focus in the Kerr Lake area where we had some success in the past, and we're following up on some discoveries that were made a few years ago by the previous operators. So this is the Kerr Lake area, home to a number of historical mines, and about 60 million ounces was produced here. You know, in you know, between the early 1900s and, you know, up until when the camp shut down in the 80s. So so it's a very prolific, very rich area. You know, we see the best potential right now in this zone over here, which we call the North Drummond target. What we like about that is that there's already some good hits there that we're following up on, and you know, it is away from the mine workings. So so while there is potential, you know, to go back and do some remnant mining, you know, because the old timers mined like super high grade, so some of the stuff that they would have left behind would still be economic today. But nevertheless, a brand new mine, brand new discovery would be even better. In our view, and so that's why we're really hot on the North Drummond target right now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the company has delineation this North Drummond target as a potential new discovery. Will this area be the sole focus for the next phase of drilling, or can we expect to see some other targets tested?
We are going to test a couple other targets in this current program. So yeah, North Drummond will be the focus, but we will be drilling this target up here, which we call Campbell Crawford, based on some historical prospects that are up there. Some very good historical results that were, in our opinion, never followed up on properly and in the right geology, the right rock units that are known to host the big silver mineralization here. And then the other one, which is kind of further away, but down in this area that we really like, is Marianne Lake, and it's in another area that where there has not been much if any historical mining, but the geology looks really favorable. There has been some historical exploration here, some good hits, many decades ago. So we are following up on that as well.
And you previously talked about the nearby Carson vein, something that has stood out from the ounces produced over such a small area. Is there potential in North Drummond for similar veins?
Yeah, so jumping back to the Kerr Lake area, the Carson vein, probably within the 5 or 6 mines that were around the lake itself, the Carson vein was probably the biggest source of production. Mainly on the Crown Reserve mine, but it actually extended both to the east and west to other mines, Silverleaf, and to I think it would have been the Kerr Lake mine to the east. So what's kind of interesting about the Carson vein, and here's a cross section looking on the west end of the lake. So this would be in the Crown Reserve mine area, is that a lot of the production from Crown Reserve would have come from these kind of smaller veins here. They're sort of 50 to 100 feet long, and kind of restricted to this to these sedimentary metasediment rock units up here. But then you've got this bigger Carson vein following a bigger structure, and this one on Crown Reserve hosted 9 million ounces, and then a few million ounces on the other mines as well. So this was almost half of the production from the whole mine over its entire life was just from this one vein. And I think why that's kind of important is it demonstrates that, even if you're getting these guys up here, which are economic and can be very good, good little producers up here, and there could be many of them, but it also could tell you that you're close to one of these bigger veins. And if you go through the whole Cobalt Lake camp, there are many examples like Carson of single veins that would have produced 5, 10, 15 plus million ounces of silver, and obviously that's something that we will be targeting as we drill new zones like North Drummond.
So the company has had news at both the Kerr project and also earlier in the month with the toll milling agreement at Bethania. What would you like investors to take away from your development, and perhaps what they can expect from the company going forward?
Well, with the being active on 2 different projects, it certainly gives us and our shareholders a lot of developments to follow over the coming months. I think the toll milling agreement that we announced really kind of solidifies a way forward with Bethania to at least start some production in the near term, and that's what we intend to do, and that's what we're working towards right now. We still intend to build our mill that was basically that we reported on and talked about in our PEA, was the subject of the PEA. We still intend to build that, but what's nice about Bethania is you do have the option to produce at various scales, and we can kind of start smaller and quicker by toll milling, and then jump into the bigger project with the mill. You perhaps start construction on that later this year, if the market's good enough, and if things work out. We want to do it as quickly as we can.
All right, we appreciate you coming on the show today, David, and as usual, we'll be keeping a close eye on future updates from Kuya and are looking forward to having you back on again soon.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks.